The prohibited transaction rules are extremely in-depth. They're found under 4975C. And this 4975C talks about all the things you cannot do with your IRA. And I'll just quickly go through them and just paraphrase the tax code. Under 4975C1, it says prohibited transaction. For purposes of this section, the term prohibited transaction means any direct or indirect, A, sale or exchange or leasing of any property between a plan and a disqualified person. So clearly you can't take real estate and lease it to your IRA. You can't lend money to your IRA you own personally or personally guarantee an obligation of your IRA. Lending of money or extension of credit between a plan and a disqualified person. Again, a disqualified person is the IRA holder is a fiduciary, any his or her lineal descendants, parents, children, spouse, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, entities owned more than 50% by such persons, as well as potentially officers, directors, and 20% or more partners of those entities. But again, you could still have a prohibited transaction even if you own less than 50% or a disqualified person owns less than 50% of that entity, and I'll get to that in a second. C, furnishings of goods or services or facilities between a plan and a disqualified person. So you can't serve as a real estate broker to your IRA. D, transfer to your use for the benefit of the disqualified person of the income or assets of the plan. So you can't take your rental income from your IRA and give it to your kids. E, act as a disqualified person as a fiduciary where he deals with the income and the assets of the plan as his own interest. So this is the big catch-all where let's say your kid owns 2% or 5% of a company and you want to make an investment. This is where the IRS can nail you and say, well, you didn't really make the investment to benefit your IRA. It benefited your son more than your IRA because it's used for his own interest or his own account. So this is kind of the D, E, and Fs are the catch-alls that if you look at case law, this is where the IRS nails people under the prohibited transaction rules. Rarely are people dumb enough to take a salary from their IRA or just do a blatant, serve as a realtor on their IRA or just buy a house and live in it. Generally, people aren't that stupid, and the custodians won't let them do it. But D, E, and F are more of the gray areas, and this is the catch-all the IRS uses. So F, receipt of any consideration for his own personal account by any disqualified person who's a fiduciary from any party dealing the plan in connection with the transaction involving income or assets of the plan. So this is kind of the conflict of interest, where you're doing something not to benefit your IRA, but to benefit you personally. So again, this is where the IRS goes, 4975 D, E, and F, as a catch-all to go after transactions that they feel aren't really benefiting the IRA and more so benefiting the individual or the disqualified person. But there are exemptions, okay, under D. There are exemptions that apply that allow you to do prohibited transactions. I'm not going to go through all of them. There's like 20 or so, and most of them are never used and aren't relevant, but a few are. The first is a 401k loan. IRAs don't have loans, but if your 401k plan docs allow for it, you can borrow $50,000 or 50% of your account value, whatever's less, using adequate interest rate, which is prime as per the Wall Street Journal, pay back over 5 years, and that's under 4975 D1. Another popular one is D13, which is the basis for ROBS, rollover business startup, where you use retirement money to buy a business through a 401k and a corporation strategy. That's something that is found under D13. There's also some stuff under other provisions for financial advisors. Let me find that one. Another one I want to get to is 9. Receipt by a disqualified person of any benefit to which he or may be entitled as a participant or beneficiary in the plan, so long as the benefit is computed and paid on a basis which is consistent with the terms of the plan as applied to all other participants and beneficiaries. What 9 is basically saying this. If you use your IRA to buy Apple stock and it goes up, guess what? That's good. You can do it. You can do any IRA investment that benefits you as a beneficiary. And this is the distinction. You can't do anything that benefits you individually. So I can't buy an IRA and live in the house because that will benefit me as Adam Bergman. But I can buy my IRA can buy Apple stock, and the Apple goes up. That's not benefiting me personally. I'm not $1 richer. I'm only going to be richer if I take a distribution. If I take my IRA and I buy Apple stock, I'm benefiting as the beneficiary because I have to take a distribution in order to benefit as Adam Bergman. So that's the distinction, and 4975 D9 is used a lot for why, for example, you can add money to an IRA LLC. If your IRA owns 100% of the LLC today and you want to add money tomorrow, well, guess what? You're not personally benefiting. Adam Bergman's not $1 richer. I still own 0% of that LLC. The IRA will own 100% today, 100% tomorrow. So D9 is a thing that's used often, a provision. D13, D1, investment advice, D17 is used. 18 for purchase, sale, securities of property with fiduciaries involving block trades. Also D19, stock trades through electronic communication networks. But basically, most of these, and you can go through them. If you Google 4975D, most of them aren't relevant. You're not really going to have much benefit other than D1, 13, 9, and some of the others for security advisors. But take a look at them if you're interested. But C's are more important. Obviously, understand the privileged transaction rules. The chance that you're going to get lucky and get an exemption isn't likely. You got a better chance to staying clean by getting around C and just not doing a privileged transaction. So again, exemptions are important to know. It's more important, I think, to focus on C on the privileged transactions so you don't get into trouble. But anyways, the D is there. There are certain exemptions that you should keep in mind. But again, I would focus your attention on the privileged transactions, C, A, B, C, D, E, and F, especially the catch-alls D, E, and F, which could be used by the IRS to blow up a transaction for you.